Welcome back. In this video, we are going to see very interesting topic called classes and objects. We have seen a brief introduction about that. In this, we are going to see what is what in detail. So, before we see what is class actually, we are going to see what are the drawbacks we faced in C. Okay, so we know that we have used structures in C, but in C++ we have redefined it. So when it comes to Java, we have again redefined and we call it as a class. So what is structure for C? That is same in C++ and we call it as class. So let me make it clear what classes are to C++, what structures are to C. So what privileges or what facility your structure gives to C, the same thing your class is going to give in C++. So before we see what is structure and objects in detail, let us see what are the issues we faced in C. So we have been writing C programs since many years. So we can come with the drawbacks. So first thing is in normally in C the library programmer creates structures, but problem is if you look at the screen uh, where I've created a structure. In fact, the structure is not created. We have created a structure variable, and we have called a function where we are going to set the date, and we are going to print this. And if you look at the next statement, we have a d1 dot month, so which is going to set month as 13. And everyone knows there is no month no which is going to take the value 13. So this is a bug. This is create which is going to create an error, and which can be easily visualized if the number of lines of codes are very less. Think that you have written a small program where you are going to where you have committed the mistakes, but think a scenario where the number of lines in the code is going to be 25,000. So where you cannot find this mistakes easily, right? If it is small numbers, we can do it. If it is a larger number, we are not able to find it. Second thing is if you take C, there is an absence of binding. We have seen in C or in procedure oriented programs, data are permitted to move around the functions. There is nothing called binding data with the functions or code. So normally what happens? There will be a security threat. The next issue is something called encapsulation. So the which is going to give you, data hiding facility and data abstraction. This is also not there, which lacks in C. And what is the solution? So C++ provides a solution in the form of a structure. For structure, we use the keyword struct. So let us see the drawbacks we faced in C, how we can overcome in C++ using a structure. Okay, so we have taken a structure as you could see on the screen. Uh, the structure name is distance, and your structure starts here and which ends here. And whatever you do right inside the structure, we call it as structure members. So the first one is data member, second one also data member, and these are the member functions. So we have got one, this is the second one, this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. So we have got a structure called distance with 2 plus 4. What is 2? 2, these the first two are nothing but data members, and last 4 are member functions. So what does it mean? C++ allows member function inside the structure. So if you look at the main function, where have created two structure variables for the structure called distance. And look at this d1 dot set feet. How do we access the member function? Using the dot operator. So I'm calling d1 dot set inches, d2 dot set feet, and d2 dot set inches. So how do I access? Using the dot operator. So please do remember, we have made use of the facility where we can define a member inside a structure. So the output is going to be 2.2, 2.2, and 3, 3.3. So we we have noticed we can have not only member data in the structure, we can also have member functions. For this, we have used the keyword struct. In the structure, we are writing it. And how this is accessed, your member function and member data are accessed using an operator called variable to member access operator. What is this operator? Which is nothing but the dot operator. So now let us see a little more in deep in structure. So we are going to use two keywords known as private and public. They are known as access specifiers, or they are also known as access modifiers. So let us see how we can make use of these two keywords in structure. So you can see the structure with which is same as the previous, but with a small modification where you can find the two keywords private and public. Rest everything remains same as the previous one. So let us see your main function where we have created two structure variables d1 and d2. So if you look at the structure, we are going to say like under private, we have two members. We have two members. One is I feet, other one is F inches. These are my private data members. What does it mean? Only through member functions. So what are the member functions? We have set feet, get feet, set hinges, and get hinges. Only using this function, others can access it, or only this function can access it. So we have taken, so we have called these functions, everything is fine. And look at the next statements. We have written d I d1 dot I feet, so which is going to give an error. Why? Because what is I feet? I feet is a private member which is accessed by a non-member function. What are the member functions? Member functions are get feet, set inches, get inches, and set feet. Only this function can access this private data. So the two keywords says it very clearly. What are the keywords? Private and public. So under private, what is given? Please do remember, which can be accessed only through the member functions. And under public, we have four functions. This can be accessed by anybody. These are my private, or these are these structures, no public data. Anybody can access. So we have used two keywords. Let me repeat. So private and public, and only those member functions can access or modify the private data. So let me make it clear. Only through member functions we can access or modify the private data. So if you look at the previous thing, we had no, we had a member called ifeet. Ifeet was the private data, so nobody else can access it. So if no anybody violates this, which is going to be prevented and which is going to be stopped, and C++ compiler is going to throw an exception, which is going to throw an error. You in a way I can say that which will never get compiled. So this is all about structure in C++, and the two keywords we use, one is private and other one is public. Now let us see what is the actual difference between a class and a structure. So in a structure, every member are public. By default, they are public. Whereas in class, every member of a class, they are private. So let me repeat. In a class, every member by default, they are going to be private. Whereas in a structure, every member is public by default. So let us see a small example for this. So where you can find, a structure with distance, we can find private, and under private we have two members, so I feet and f inches, and under public we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, four members. Okay, so if you look at the other way of representing this, so we have taken, again a class distance, and what it says, every member of a class are public. So I need not write public over here. So by default, set feet, get feet, set inches and get inches. So these are the public members by default. And if any private member is there, that you have to mention explicitly. See, look at this. So under private, you have to write what are the private members. So, and in class, every member or every members are private. So let us see the example for this. So we have taken a class called distance. Before it was a structure called distance, and you can find under public you have set feet, and we have two private variables before we see what is public variables. So by default, in feet and f inches are private. They are by default, they are private. I need not to mention it. If in case any member is public, I have to mention it. So I've got set feet, get feet, set inches and get inches. So these are the public members.